Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Remy, and for the returning subscribers or viewers, thank you for sticking to my channel. In today's video, we are going to sew a smoked, or you could call it a sheared dress with ruffled sleeves. So if you find this video helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share and subscribe to my channel. So as you can see, this is my fabric right here. I made this dress using 6 yards of African print fabric. We are going to start with the upper part of the dress, and with me here are the measurements of the dress. So we have my bust, which is 34 inches, my waist, which is 28 inches, my half length, which is 17 inches, and my gown length, which is 36 inches. We are going to use this to make the dress, so let's get started. As you can see, I folded my fabric into 4, and that is for the upper part of the dress, and this being a tube dress, we shall have to start from 7 inches downwards. That is like the chest line downwards. We shall come down by 7 inches, and for that you are going to have a folding at the top of the dress, so that will make us want to come down by 1 more inch to work for the folding of the dress, so that our dress has some space on the folding. And with that is where you're going to start our measurements from, going downwards. So we are going to start by measuring our bust line. We mark our bust line right there. We shall mark our bust line, and then we shall go 2 inches above to mark the chest line. Above of the bust line, we shall go 2 inches above to mark the chest line, and then we shall also measure our half length. The half length is the waist measurements. So my waist length is 17 inches, so that's what we shall put for the waist as 17 inches. So I'm going to mark all of that horizontally and make straight lines, and then we shall come back and then we shall input the horizontal measurement, the circumference of the dress, to make the shape of the dress, if that makes sense. So this is me just drawing lines to make straight lines in order for us to put markings on the dress horizontally, so that we can come up with the shape of the dress, the front part of the dress, the upper part of the dress. So with that being said, I've drawn the lines, and sorry if my lines are not really clear, but I'm out of chalk, so that's why I tried using the marker pen that is similar to my fabric. So with that being said, you're going to start with the chest line. Let's go through it again. That is my chest line, my bust line, and my half length, or the waistline. So with that, you're going to put our measurements horizontally. So the next thing we are going to do is impute our circumference, and by doing that, we have to get our bust circumference, which is 34 divided by 4. That is going to give us 8.5, and we shall get that 8.5 and add 5 extra inches to it, giving us 13.5. So we shall have to mark 13.5, or you could add extra inches to it according to what you want. I decided to use mine as 14 first, then I added more 1 inch to make it 15 to hold the measurements and to be on a safer side without running out of fabric, you get. So then, as you can see, you're now going to mark our 15 inches on the dress. That is me marking the 15 inches of how long I want to make the dress, and the circumference you are going to use, the extra inches that are left. So the next thing we are doing is finding our circumference. Now that is going to be 35 for my bust circumference, divided by 4, which will give me 8.5. And remember that 8.5, I added 5 extra inches, that will give me 13.5. So what I'm going to do is mark the 13.5 both on my chest line and also on my bust line, you get. And after that, I will make a straight line from my chest line to my bust line, and also to the 6 inches up, the upper line that we left for the 6 inches. So I'm going to make a straight line to the upper part of it, you get. So after that, you're going to come and measure my waist circumference. My waist is 28 divided by 4 will give me 7, and 7 plus the 5 extra inches will give me 12 inches. So I'm going to mark 12 inches on my half length line and impute that as my waist circumference. So I'm going to make a straight line and join from my bust line to my waistline, as you can see. So to make it clear, I'm going to be using chalk so that you can see what I'm talking about. After that, I'll cut off the piece and I'll come and show you how the final result is. I didn't add allowance because I had added the 5 inches already. As you can see, I've now folded, I've cut out my piece, and this is the front part of the dress, the upper part of the dress. That is the line, the upper line, the chest line, the bust line, and the waistline. I also went ahead and left half an inch. I cut out half an inch so that I can use that half an inch for joining my upper part of the dress to the downer part of the dress. And when I open it up, you can see what I'm talking about. I have 2 pieces, one for the back of the dress and one for the front of the dress. So I'm going to fold it and put it aside so that we can concentrate on making the downer part of the dress. So this is the down part of the dress, and I cut it off camera because my space is small and you wouldn't be able to see the whole process. That's why I decided to cut it off the camera. As you can see, I cut the first layer of the dress and also the second layer of the dress. That is the bottom layer to make the ruffles. Both of them are going to be made in ruffles. I mean, we're going to gather them. And how we came about that, the layers, you can see my first layer, the top part of the dress is there. That is 17 inches long, and for the middle layer, that is the layer after the first top part of the dress, is going to be 12 inches long, plus the down part of the dress will be 7 inches long. And how I came about that, my gown length is 36 inches, and when you get 36 inches minus 17 inches, that is the length of the top part of my dress, will give you 19 inches. So I get those 19. So I got the 19 inches, and instead of dividing it by 2, I divided it in a way that I could get the middle part of the dress, that is the first layer of the downer dress, bigger, and then the other as 12 inches, and then the downer part of the dress as 7 inches. If you want, you can make them equal by dividing your 19 inches or the inches you get the downer to make the downer part by 2. But for me, I decided I wanted the first layer of my downer part of the dress to be bigger than the second layer of it. That's why I have 12 inches and 7 inches you get. So you will find that my middle part of the dress, that is the first bottom layer, is bigger than the downer part of the dress. As you can see, I'm trying to put out the whole picture for you to see. Sorry, I made a very big rectangle there, but as you can see, that is what it is. So with that being said, I am going to cut my dress and I will layer it for you, and you will see what I'm talking about. By doing so, I'm going to measure the bottom part of my dress on the waistline, and whatsoever I get there, I will multiply that by 3 or more, depending on how much fabric you have, to get the length of the downer part of the dress. And as you can see, I'm measuring my waist measurements that I have on my fabric, which is giving me 24 inches. And with that, I'll get my 24 inches and I will multiply it by 2.5 inches. You get, so that will be 24 inches. 24 inches that I got from the down part of my dress, that is the width of it, of the waistline, divide by 2.5, which will give me 60 inches. So I went ahead and cut the top part of my bottom of the dress to 60 inches. As you can see, I'm trying to show you guys that it's long, and I folded it in the middle because we have 2 parts for the dress. We have the front part of the dress and the back part of the dress. That's why it's folded. As you can see, I'm measuring for you to say that it is 60 inches long. And by doing so, my fabric I tried using 33 inches to measure to get the full length, like I wanted my downer part to be too bulk, but I didn't have enough fabric, so I decided to use 2.5 inches. So you multiply the inches you get on the downer part of your on the waistline by the inches you want. Mine, I used 2.5. As you can see, it gives me 60. So that is the upper part of my dress, which is 12 inches long. It's having 60 inches of the width is 60 inches, as you can see. So I'm going to cut that in the middle, and it will give me 2 pieces of the down part, the top part of the dress. I'll cut it in the middle and you will see what I'm talking about. I will do that both to the bottom layer of the dress and also this upper part of the dress. And for the bottom layer of the dress, I also multiplied what I got, that is 60 inches times 2.5. It gave me 130, I think 130, I think. And that's how I got the down part of the dress. So the downer part of the dress, the real bottom one, has more gathers than the first layer of the bottom part of the dress. I don't know if you're getting me, but I've tried my best to explain to you. So I'm going to go ahead and cut both pieces open to give me 4 pieces, 2 for the back, 2 for the front, and then I'll come back and show you guys the final that I'm talking about. And after that, after cutting the pieces, I'll make sure I make gathers. I'm going to also go ahead and make gathers for all the pieces. I'm going to go ahead and sew and make a loose stitch, so that I can make gathers for all the pieces of the dress. And then I'll come back and show you what I'm talking about. As you can see, I went ahead and made the gathers. I also went ahead and did some finishing on the top part of the dress, that is the half length, the upper part of the dress. And not only that, I went and also folded the half of the dress, like the downer part of the dress. I made the gathers, and I will attach those gathers to the middle part, to the half length of the upper part of the dress. On the last piece of the dress, I went ahead and made the gather stitch. I made the gathers, and I also folded the bottom part of the dress and sewed it. So the next thing we are going to do is attach the pieces together so that we can take them for sewing, and we shall make the final dress. So with that, I'm going to attach the last piece of the dress to the middle part, that is the top part, bottom of the dress, the first part of it. And I will also attach the half length of the dress to the first bottom layer of the dress. By doing so, I will divide my top part of the dress, the half length, into 2, and with that I'll get the middle part of the dress, which is that I made a mark on it, and also do the same thing to the first bottom part of the dress. I will also fold it. Make sure you fold it before you gather the dress so that it will be easier for you. But if you fold it after the gathers, it will not be easy. So you fold it before you make the gathers. So attach those 2 parts together, and by doing so, you will use that part to open up the gathers so that the gathers attach properly and they are all equal, instead of having one side is bulk and the other side is not. You get, like, one side has a lot of gathers and the other side has less gathers. So I made sure I mark the middle part of my fabrics, and I'm going to use that part. I'll pin it down and I'll use that part to open up my gathers, like to open them up so that they can fit the half length of my dress. You get, I will also go ahead and make and fold the bottom part of the dress into half again, so that I can attach it to the last layer, which I've also found the middle point of it. I'll go ahead and open that part, stretch it out until the gathers are all on the same level. I'm going to do that for both my front part and also my front part of the dress and the back part of the dress. So this is me. I've finished to put the parts together. I did that both for the front part of the dress. I joined the 3 parts together, and I also did it for the back part of the dress. I joined the top layer, that is the half length, to the top bottom layer and also the down bottom layer of the dress. I pinned it down, and with that said, I am going to go over my sewing machine and sew all the parts that I've joined together. I will sew all of them together, and then I'm going to do that for both the front part of the dress and the back part of the dress. And then also I'm also going to do the smoked gathers. I'm going to smoke the top part of the dress, that is the half length of the dress where the bust is on the waistline. I'm going to go ahead and smoke that part too for both the front of the dress and then the back of the dress, and I will come back and show you guys what I'm talking about. So here I have finished to join the parts, and now I'm smoking the top part of the dress, as you can see. So let me allow you guys enjoy the process, and you will see the final result of the dress. But guys, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, don't forget to also like my video, give me a thumbs up, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time we post. So here I'm done with the sewing. I'm done with also making the smoked part of the dress. You can see I sewed both the front and the back, and I also went ahead and ironed so that you can see how neat it is. So that is what you're going to do for the dress, both the front part of it and the back part of it. You get the next one. I also went ahead and cut the pockets out. I think I used 7 inches by 8. I don't want my pockets to be too big, and I made 4 pieces out of the pockets, 2 for the back part of the dress and 2 for the front part of the dress. So we are also going to attach the pockets to the dress, both parts of the dress. We are going to get them, we shall get 1 piece of the front part of the dress and attach it to the dress. By doing so, you will go ahead and on that part, the smoked part of the dress, you will go up by 1 inch, like you can see me doing. Go up by 1 inch, measure 1 inch from the smoked part of the dress, not the waistline, but 1 inch up of the smoked part of the dress, and that is where we shall start to align our pockets from. So you shall pin that part down and pin the rest of the pocket too, and that will give us the shape of the pocket we want. Instead of our pocket being so low, I'm doing that like starting from the smoked part of the dress so that our pockets can be a little bit high and not sagging. I'm going to do that for all the pieces, that is the back part of the dress and the front part of the dress on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and pin all of them down, and then you will see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm done pinning and also put them together, the back part and the front part of the dress. I joined them together and pinned them down. So the next thing I'm going to do is you are going to sew all around the pocket, from the top part of the dress to the pocket. And when we get to the pocket, that is the bottom part of the pocket connecting down, we shall measure 6 inches on the pocket side. That will be our hole where we shall insert our hands after sewing. So we come down by 6 inches, and from the 6 inches downwards we shall sew from the 6 inches up to the bottom part of the dress. We are going to do that for not only the one side of the dress but also the other side of the dress. When you get to the next pocket, that is the other side of the dress, you will also still come down by 6 inches. After sewing all around, you will come and measure 6 inches, which is the space left to open the part of the pocket. So as you can see, my dress, we are done sewing, we are done with the pockets too, and it's almost complete. That is my front part of the dress and the back part of the dress. I'm showing you the pockets too. So the 6 inches we left were the opening of the pocket where you can insert your hand. If your hand is too big, you can leave what? If your hand is big, you can leave 7 inches or any that you want. So the next is our sleeves. I decided to make the sleeves with ruffles. I just didn't want to put strings that I'm going to tie. No, I decided to make strings with ruffles. And I made 2 strips of 14 inches for both my arms, and also 1 long strip with a width of 4.5 inches and 13.5 divided in the middle. I'm going to cut it, and one part I'm going to share both of them. I'll use one, I'll make the gathers on the biggest pieces, and I'll attach those gathers to the strings that I'm going to attach to the dress, as you can see. So when attaching, you can either make gathers or you can use pleats. I used gathers for mine and I attached them to the dress. So in the next video, you're going to see what I did, the outcome of the dress. So this is the dress, and you see how lovely it looks. So that's the fine of the dress. Please guys, don't forget to subscribe once again, hit the like button, notification bell, and we shall see ourselves in the next video.